So we'll get cracking, and what we're talking about today is mindset. I'm sure you would agree that because of the massive pressure that we're all under at the moment, because we've got a second wave looming, and the problem is there's so much information, misinformation, questioning about COVID and what the governments are doing, what the governments aren't doing, and so on, that it's becoming actually even more stressful than it would be if it was simply just a virus that was, working its way through the population. It's, I think, for a lot of us in practice, and for our clients, it really is a case of not knowing. So I want this session very much to be, I'll just give you some thoughts about mindset. And then what we'll do is, I'd love to invite you to pop your questions in the chat box. As you know, if you've been with me before, at the very bottom of the screen, you've got a chat. If you mouse over the screen, you've got a little box that comes up that says chat. If you click on that, to the side of your screen, they are set up slightly differently on different screens and different platforms, but to the side of your screen you'll see a little box that comes up and it says chat, so you can drop your questions in there. Hi Rita, you're joining us from Malta, lovely to meet you, thank you so much, lovely to see you here. So yes, if you've got any questions or if you've got any thoughts that crop up as we're going through this, jot them in the chat and then I'll circle back round to actually address questions and anything that comes up. Okay, so I've created a worksheet for you. It's on resilience because I think this is our strength at the moment. I really do feel that one of the things that keeps coming up, the questions that I keep answering, and that keeps coming up in the various groups, things like the Complementary Medical Association Facebook group, and things like my business development group, which is called Janie Goddard Masterclasses. Again, it's a Facebook group. If you're not in there, you're welcome to join, and you really should, because that's where I have all the videos on practice development and so on and so forth. Now, the question that keeps coming up is, or the point that keeps coming up is that my clients are cancelling because they are afraid of catching COVID, or they're afraid of being exposed and taking it back home to really vulnerable people. I touched on this in our Q&A yesterday. We had a Q&A in the group, a Facebook Live in the group, touched on it yesterday. So I want to just reiterate for those of you who weren't actually in that discussion. And another fear that we're seeing from clients and also from students. So for those of you who are teaching training classes, courses, and you're running training schools, is that you've got, you're reporting to us that students are concerned about obviously coming to classes if you're still running live classes, or they are potentially not booking in with you because of the financial commitment at a very, very uncertain time. Now, clearly, all of these concerns are legitimate. I'm not minimizing these concerns. They are absolutely legitimate because they are real. And so, what can we do? The onus is upon us to actually help people allay those fears with appeals to logic and appeals to clear thinking. So what do we do about that? Building resilience is the mindset, is the key mindset element that will actually help us to be able to rise above all of the stress that's going on and to be able to deliver our services. Now, as you know, my position about complementary medicine is that complementary medicine is not a poor cousin to conventional medicine. Obviously, conventional medicine can do wonders with surgery and things like insulin and so on. I mean, these are things that save people's lives. Let's not forget. But where we come in is from the lifestyle perspective. The things that we offer, the treatments that we offer, the solutions and transformations that we offer are, these are the things that conventional medicine does not, because of its philosophy and the way that it works, by treating asymptomatic. It's all about symptom relief, isn't it? What we're doing is actually drilling down and getting to the underlying issues within the client that we're faced with at that time. So we are in a position to be able to address chronic disease, chronic ailments in such a way that conventional medicine doesn't. And it's a philosophical difference. We think holistically because we step back and we look at the big picture of what's really going on in the totality of our clients and patients. Whereas doctors, you know, for example, if you go to a GP, what happens? The person turns up, the patient turns up to the GP, they turn up with, doctor, I can't sleep, and I've got this itch, and I've got a wonky knee. So the poor GP has to act as a postman or a post lady and say, okay, well, you've got to go and see the sleep clinic for the insomnia, or take these tablets. And for that itchy skin, well, you're going to have to go and see the dermatologist. And for your wonky knee, well, let's send you to a rheumatologist. And so, you know, it's all this sort of disjointed thinking, isn't it? But if that person came to us, we're going to look at the lifestyle. We're going to figure out, why are these symptoms presenting? Now, we're looking at what they're eating, how they're exercising, whether they're sleeping, what they're doing, the whole gestalt. So what that does is it positions us to be incredibly important at this time. In fact, complementary medicine has never been more important than right now at this point in time, because people are suffering, not just with COVID, but they're also suffering from the massive onslaught of the mental health issues that are coming up for so many people right now. Fear of COVID, financial fears, isolation, not being able to see the grandchildren, all of these things that are happening that are really destroying lives. So, you know, what do we do and how do we position ourselves? I just want to say, it's down to us how we think about things and how we view our role and how we perceive what we bring to the party. Okay, so what I want to do is for us to do a little bit of, you know, I'm always one for mental gymnastics. And as I say, I've got this big old handout that I've created for you that I'm just putting the final touches to. And once I've done that, I'll upload it into the group for you. It'll be a little worksheet and you'll be able to get that downloaded. One of the most important things we have to do is to take responsibility. It's a decision that we have to make. Are we going to be a victim of circumstances, or are we going to be victorious over these circumstances? Are we going to play the blame game, or are we going to say, right, okay, this is the hand I've been dealt, and this is what I'm going to do about it? If we're playing the victim role, it means that we're blaming the government. We're blaming next door's neighbour, the neighbour next door. We are blaming the economy. We're blaming the board of directors. We're blaming Joe in accounts who just doesn't get it. And, you know, we're blaming our patients who don't respond to our texts and things like that. Okay, so we're actually externalizing our dramas. And that actually is incredibly unhelpful. And it's my hope for all of us here that we are actually trailblazers. In fact, we are the cavalry who comes riding in and says, actually, this is what we're going to do, everybody. These are the solutions, and this is what we actually have to offer. Victors, not victims, but victors are all about empowering. They're the ones who are saying, given all of this, what are we going to create out of it? We can't control the economy, we can't control the pandemic, but what we can control is what we put out into the world and how we put it out there. So I think that's really important. It's that mind shift about moving from here to there and looking at what we can do to actually flip things around and what we can put out into the world and the messaging that we put out there. And as I say, we are the ones who can actually define the way that complementary medicine moves forward from this point onwards. And the very fact that you've turned up for this meeting means that you are the core element, you are the core group who will actually be able to do this. So, to be recession resilient, because we're in the worst recession that the world has ever actually seen. I mean, that really is something, isn't it, when you consider how long commerce has been going on for. We've got to embody the mindset of the victor. So we've got to help our patients move on from the perspective of, well, they'll fix it, to, well, actually, I've got to find other solutions. And what we've got to be able to do is to get that messaging out to our clients. So what I want to ask you, and if you can maybe make some notes for me in the notes section, and I'd like to then just refer to that. What messaging are you getting out to your clients? What steps have you taken at this point to contact your clients? Have you taken steps to contact them, or are you leaving it up to them to contact you? Now, the reason I ask that is because when I trained way back when, back in the olden days in homeopathic medicine, we were always taught never to contact the client, very bad practice, that they have to contact you, because otherwise it would be seen as being sort of pushy or leading or coercive or what have you. And of course, actually, that's not true. And the model has changed over the last 30 years, I'm glad to say. And it's perfectly okay for us to be there and to be getting newsletters, emails, contacts, texts even to our clients to say, we're here. Let me have a little look at some of the notes. Thank you. Okay. Yes, I will be sharing this meeting afterwards, and thank you, Roberta. Yes, we are recording it. Right, okay, 1 second. Right, okay, lovely. Yep, the notes are now coming up. Okay, lovely. So Tracy, thank you, Tracy. Yes, you've responded to individuals' emails, which is great. Andrew says, yes, you've been putting things on your Facebook page. Okay, anybody else? Has anybody else actually reached out to their clients? If you haven't, why not? I need to know. So please, can you put in the notes? That would be really, really helpful. So I'll give you a moment to do that, please, if you wouldn't mind sharing that, because it's crucial for our discussion moving forward. While you're doing it, I'm going to have a slurp of my tea. Thank you. Okay, Chrissy says, I've emailed my client list and told them I'm still working. My room is COVID safe. Told them the herbal tinctures I'm providing. Also contacted local internet groups. Fabulous, excellent. Also, Chrissy's written Facebook posts on how to boost immunity naturally. Fabulous. Tracy says, fear of the law. Tracy, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Bruna says, I've been linking my blog to my Facebook page and updating my clients. That way I'm getting a new therapy room, but the building works are being delayed because of COVID, I guess, probably. I'm offering Zoom sessions. Excellent. Okay, that's fantastic. Deborah says, I've emailed all of my clients providing a Q&A of all the worry points. Yes, thank you. I've also texted all of my clients. Excellent. That's fantastic. It's so important that they know that we are here for them. Absolutely crucial. Right, okay, so anybody else? Let's have a little look. Anybody else? Anybody else or anybody else? Okay. Yep, Mark says, oh, this is great. 1 second. Yep. Okay. So just make sure I haven't missed anybody. Mark says, I've informed my clients what I've done to make things in my therapy space COVID safe, doing most therapy now on Zoom, phone, remote. Excellent, Mark. Thank you. Jacqueline says, I've done Facebook, etc., and newsletters and call and text, but after a few times felt like I was bothering them, so left it for them to come back to me. I have a lot following my blogs, etc., and running virtual sessions, but a lot of people are worried about finances now. Yes, okay. Still working. Sandra says, I'm still working so far with minimal cancellations. Excellent, Sandra, that's great. We'll contact clients. Yes, you must. Absolutely, it's crucial. Okay, so Andrew's using a cycle shop. It's clean and I don't have to do motorbikes. Okay, I'm not sure how that helps your complementary medical clients. Okay, right, Debbie says, I send monthly newsletters. All clients have my COVID practice info. I also follow up clients' requests for information, etc., and text. I would say, Debbie, actually, you're doing monthly newsletters. Brilliant. I would actually switch that to weekly at the moment, because what I want to say, everybody, this next point on my list, which I'm just about to come to, is about us being the cavalry. So I'm just going to carry on looking at the notes here and messages. Jenny says, I've updated my Google ad and have updated my website where I'm offering Zoom sessions. Brilliant. Excellent. Getting that out there. And says, I'm currently contacting my past clients by phone to check how they're coping, offering reassurance. Excellent. That's really good, everybody. Don't forget your past clients, because, you know, the thing in business is it's incredibly expensive, both time-wise and energy-wise, a massive drain on your resources to get new clients. If you've got previous clients, then those are the ones that's your client bank. You must go back to them to say, look, I'm here. If you need help, you know, this is you know, just contact me. This is what I'm doing. I'm COVID safe. In the broadcast yesterday, Debbie Gannon was saying that she very cleverly, and I think Mark, I think you may have done this, very cleverly actually made a walkthrough video of your practice, talking about literally from the doorbell, the door knocker, right the way through to the doorknob, showing everybody every touch point to say, this is how it's sanitized, all of these touch points are sanitized, this is my PPE, this is how I make sure that everything is absolutely clean for you. And it works brilliantly. So people have actually been able to show that to people that they live with. So for example, where you've got a client who says, well, I would like to come, but my elderly mum is desperately worried about me going out in case I bring COVID back to her. She can actually, the lady's actually shown that to the elderly mum, and the elderly mum said, oh, okay, oh, that's really good then, isn't it? That works. Okay, yes, off you go and have your treatment or go and have your class. So these are really great tips that really act as reassurance. The other thing that will really act as reassurance for your clients is making sure you've got a paper trail so that they can see, gosh, yes, you're really super professional, aren't you? You've got all your ducks in a row. You've got your paper trail. I've got to fill out this form. You're telling me how you're doing your PPE. You're telling me how I've got to do my PPE. And well, I feel very reassured now. Yes, I think I will go and see this person. So it's all about, you know, just making sure and hand holding. I think that's really crucial for us right now. Let me just check the next messages. Okay, so Sandy, oh, hello Sandy, I miss you from Cam Expo. We used to be able to get together on a regular basis, so once a year there, didn't we, Sandy? So Sandy says she's not currently working, personal health issues, understandable, but really hoping to change this soon. Still doing what I can though, and working on a business plan. Brilliant. If you've got downtime, then actually, yes, working on business plans is an excellent idea. As I said in the group yesterday, we've got some amazing things coming up within the Complementary Medical Association. One of the things that we're doing, and this was Roberta's brilliant idea, which is we're putting together a mental health broadcast, snippets, little consumable chunks, 5-minute videos, if that, on little mental health exercises that people can do. They can dip in and out as they choose, find things they like doing, exercises that maybe don't appeal to them so much, and figure out what works for them. Roberta had this brilliant brainstorm at, I don't know, probably, was it Wednesday, Roberta, that you came up, something like that, and we immediately implemented it because it was, I just think it's so important right now. So anyway, so we're doing that, and we're also, so that's just something that, you know, if you want to dip into that, that's fine. We'll let you know when it all goes live. But you might also want to tell your clients about it because it's just a neat little thing. And, you know, you'll be able to say, well, this is the organization I belong to, la, 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 you know, and so on, if you're a CMA member. So that's great. Now, the other thing is that we are actually putting together a practice development course because, quite honestly, it's desperately, desperately, desperately needed right now. So as Sandy says, she's getting her ducks in a row for when she's well enough to go back to practice. And I know Sandy, I've known Sandy for years, and I know that she works so brilliantly with her clients. You know, I know, Sandy, I know you won't mind me saying, but you've got some pretty hardcore health challenges that you've been working through, but that gives you so much empathy with your clients, doesn't it? And I just have, I've got total admiration for what you do out in the world. You're just a precious gift, and just want to thank you for being here. Moving on, Susan says her Facebook page has regular updates regarding the progress towards opening the rooms that I hire. Brilliant. These open this week. My website takes these same updates. Excellent. Counselling has continued online throughout. Fabulous, well done. Okay. Face-to-face will resume in November, and updates will be posted and sent to clients who I have permission to contact. Fantastic, Susan. That is absolutely brilliant. Okay, yeah, that's really, really good. So you're very on the ball with all of that. Tracy says she's got 2 practices, home and clinic, complicated messages to different target groups, shop manager uncertain of rules, even though Tracy feels confident. Excellent. Tracy, if you can answer below, have you taken anything online? Because that's what I'm coming to with all of you after I've gone through the questions. Oh, Andrew's, okay, that's fine. It's a message to me directly. That's fine. I'll answer that in a bit, Andrew. Lots of updates on sites to advise working online, and keep putting the message out there. Jacqueline, yes, absolutely, everybody. Great. Okay. Susan, working to update all paperwork, ready to reopen business next month. Fabulous. Right, okay. Sandra says, I full risk assessment, email clients with clinic changes and what's expected, and what we expect from clients, continue to update. Clinic has its own video walkthrough. Excellent, fantastic stuff. And as you know, I was saying about, keeping your paper trail. It's fabulous to give to clients, but the other reason we keep a paper trail, and I know many of you have been with me through all of these broadcasts, but there are a few new people with us today. So the other reason we keep a paper trail of, I gave this piece of paper to my client has signed, they say they know what they're doing, my client has said they've signed to say that I've explained my PPE and the way I work to them and so on. Because if ever a claim was brought against you and that client said to Baylands or Westminster or whomever your insurers are, oh, Mary Smith gave me COVID. Well, the point is you can say, well, actually, the chances of that happening are so incredibly remote because look, this paperwork, these are the hoops I made my client jump through before they actually even set foot inside the door. And this is my COVID walkthrough. And this is my commitment to PPE. This is my health and safety executive website link that I make all my clients look at. Now, as you know, we've got all of those links for you on the CMA website. Roberta, if you wouldn't mind just jotting the CMA website address in for people who are joining us who aren't yet members. If you'd like to go there, there's something smack bang on the homepage that says COVID update. All of the links to the latest health and safety executive information are there. All of the links to the British Medical Journal latest findings, the Lancet latest findings, everything that you might possibly want to know about keeping your clients safe from COVID and keeping yourselves safe. It's all there for you on the website. As you know, we're really on the ball, really insistent on keeping you properly informed. Right, okay. Sandra's got full risk assessment, emailing clients, clinic changes, what's expected. Yes, as you said, you've got your clinic walkthrough. Right, oh, you're very welcome, Sandy. That's a thank you from Sandy. Right, okay, let's have a little look. Right, okay. Carolyn says, my situation is slightly different because I formulate small-scale organic skincare, so my business is mostly online sales at this point, although I would eventually be expanding this to personal consultations on related skincare concerns. Cost is a big issue for customers or clients. I'm busy with an aromatherapy course now to expand my services, but it's difficult, especially during this time. Okay, now, so the next point in my resilience mindset discussion is, keep the questions coming, everybody, because I will come back to them. But what I want to say is, we are the cavalry. So, you know, we can't rely on anybody else out there to fix the situation because, I mean, quite honestly, you know, just look at the government's response and, you know, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theory out there. And I have to say, I'm not a big conspiracy theory person myself. But what I do see is absolute, complete and utter guesswork and also ineptitude. So, you know, they don't know. They've never seen this before. It's real guesswork. So the point is, we can't rely on anybody to fix things for us. We are the ones who have to put the good out there and actually fix it for other people. So we are the ones that have to come riding in on our chargers to sort it all out. So what we've got to do is we've got to challenge assumptions. We've got to move our clients from this is the way it is to this is what we can create together. So I'm all about co-creating with your clients. And what I mean by that is finding out what it is that your clients really actually need from you at this particular point in time. Whether it's a case of picking up the phone to clients that you know, and it's got to be clients, it can't be your best friend or your next door neighbor that you go for coffees with, or anybody else who's not your client. It's got to be client, because the problem is with your friends and families, they'll tell you what you want to hear. And they think everything you do is just brilliant. So you're not going to get a straight on, you're not going to get meaningful data. You know me, research-based everything. So you're not going to get meaningful data from your loved ones. What you will get, where you will get meaningful data about what's needed to move forward, is actually from your clients. And I see nothing wrong with picking up the phone, arranging a time for making a call, picking up the phone to say 3 or 4 clients and saying to them, right, it's a difficult situation right now. It doesn't matter if you're seeing these clients at the moment or if you're not seeing them. It really doesn't matter. You'll still get meaningful data. Ask them what, if they had a magic wand, what do they most need from you by way of support at the moment? If money was no object, if all things were equal, what could you do to help them? Now, what I'm thinking with this, and this is where I'm going, so bear with me. What I'm thinking with this is it possible that you could take something that you do, if you find that clients are dropping off because of financial reasons, for example, is there something that you could offer them by way of a little ebook or a little mini course or something like that, that they could just take, download for a small fee, usually £27, £17, one of those sort of funny numbers that ends in 7 or a 9 or that sort of thing. You know, it's one of those strange things that just seems to be, marketing shows these numbers are actually more attractive to people. But the point I'm making is that, is there just a little something that you can do that you're offering that is, you're putting a price on it, because if you give things away for free, people will download them and never ever look at them. That's just the way it works in the world. If, however, you put a price on it, even if it's £7 or £9, it doesn't really matter what that price is, because what you've got to do is over deliver and underprice. Okay, that way you are still being the cavalry. You're still being, you know, essentially in marketing we call it the hero brand. You're still being the person that actually is looking after them. And the only way that you can find out what to create is by asking them at the moment. So somebody doing aromatherapy, you know, it depends really on your niche. Who is it you look after? If you're providing aromatherapy for let's say ladies who are moving towards looking to conceive, so you're getting them pregnancy ready, well, obviously that speaks to a certain mindset, a certain set of interests. So pick up the phone to a few of those clients and say, okay, what is it that you really, really want to know? What if you're a sports therapist and you're looking after rugger buggers, weekend warriors who get, obviously they're not playing at the moment, but these guys probably, or ladies, you know, probably actually want to stay fit. They probably actually still want to kind of keep their heads in the game in a certain way. So pick up the phone to them, ask them what it is that they need from you. Perhaps they need some therapeutic stretches, that sort of thing. Can you possibly put together a book on how to use exercise bands, that sort of thing. What if you're a homeopath and you've particularly identified a niche of, let's say, let's go back, I know, busy female executives who tend to be burnt out, who are really stressing at the moment because of just COVID and everything to do therein. So you've got these really burnt out female executives. They're probably working from home at the moment, and if they've not been able to go back into the office, as most people still haven't apparently. So what is it that you can do for those particular women? Again, you're not going to know until you actually pick up the phone and ask the question. Perhaps if you're working homeopathically with them, perhaps you could put together an ebook on types of homeopathy that they could use, maybe homeopathy first aid or homeopathy for stress and related conditions. Now, of course, we know in homeopathy we're not working symptomatically, but you know, you can go with first aid remedies, as we all know. We could look at genus epidemicus to use fancy homeopathic terms. The homeopaths know what I'm talking about, and so on. So do you see what I mean? It's all about working out what your niche, who your niche is, and what your niche actually, what they want to know. If you can put together little bits and pieces like that, that will give you an additional income stream, first and foremost, but even more importantly, it still positions you as the go-to expert. So the point is, they're still going to be referring their friends and family to you. You've still got your name out there. If I were you, I would hop on and set up Zoom talks and lectures like I do. I would do all of this, you know, watch what I do and then repeat it. It's really straightforward. It's so easy to do Zooms. Honestly, you know, I think it's just, you know, I use a paid version of Zoom because we get hundreds of people on the calls. Well, that's fine. That's because we're the Complementary Medical Association. We've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people on our database. Whereas, you know, you can use a free version if you're, I think it's up to 100 people, and it's actually free to use Zoom. So why wouldn't you? You know, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. If you think, oh, well, my environment isn't tidy enough, well, you can do what yes, Mark is doing, and possibly Jacqueline is doing. You're right, Jacqueline, you're either sitting in a really gorgeous woodland at the moment, or you've got a rather spiffing Zoom background. Is it the Zoom background? Give me a thumbs up. What is it? It's gorgeous. Is it your wallpaper? Hang on, I'm going to unmute you. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. Tell me.
I mastered how to put my photographs on there. So this is a photograph I took about 2 weeks ago, and I absolutely love it.
Wow, you should sell that. I'd buy it. That is absolutely gorgeous. You're very gifted. They're very talented. It's absolutely stunning, and it's a beautiful background, and obviously perfect for this time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. It's gorgeous. Right, I'm going to remute you for the bandwidth. Okay, lovely. Mark, I love yours. You're in outer space. Let me have a little look and see if we've got, yeah, right, okay. And we've got some people who are completely anonymous because they haven't got their cameras turned on, and that's fine. It really, truly, honestly doesn't matter. Okay, great stuff, guys. So let me get myself back. Okay, lovely. There we are. Right, okay. So let me just have a wee look at, let me see, the questions again. Is everything straightforward at the moment? Is this making sense? Would you like me to clarify any of this so far? Or have I explained it clearly enough? Let me know, because I need your feedback. Right, okay. Catherine says, I'm currently doing my NLP Hypno Practitioners course, so thank you so much for all the invaluable pointers for when I'm certified and start with clients. You're very welcome. Look out for the practice development course as well. We're looking at starting that at the beginning of November, because that's going to be absolutely invaluable as well. Okay, let me see. Right, okay. Okay, oh, Sandy's raised a really interesting point because she's stepped back from practice at the moment for a while. Sandy says, meaningful data. How do I gather meaningful data? So information that helps me make a decision about what to offer, what people really, really need. If you don't have clients, well, Sandy, go back to previous clients. Or if you are pivoting so that you actually want to maybe start looking after, let's say, a completely different new group of clients, and you're starting your practice basically from scratch again, and it's fine, you know, people do this, it's perfectly okay to do that. It's hard work, but you know, sometimes we just say, look, I don't want to work in this field anymore. I actually really want to look after this particular group of people. And because of life circumstances, this does happen. I've had it happen myself. You know, I went from working with people who were, you know, busy city execs to people really struggling with autoimmune conditions because of my own experience, deep experience with autoimmune illness. So, you know, feeling that I know a little bit about the subject, I thought, well, I'm in a really good position to actually guide these people through this problem. So, you know, so I flipped and I changed my target audience. I still deal with the execs and so on, but you know, I'm more interested in autoimmunity. So what do you do? Well, what you've got to do, Sandy, is get yourself into Facebook groups. This is great market research intelligence for you, everybody. Make a note of this and do it. Get yourself into those interest groups on Facebook. Facebook is the most brilliant place for market research. And look at the questions that are being asked in those groups by people there. Okay, so for me, for example, if I was thinking, well, you know, yeah, I want to develop a little ebook for people with autoimmune conditions, let's say rheumatoid arthritis, because obviously that's my thing. I'll take myself off to a Facebook rheumatoid arthritis group, and you can really niche it down. I mean, there's a group there that I'm a member of, athletes with rheumatoid arthritis, dancers with rheumatoid arthritis. So for me, those are particularly my niches, being an ex-ballet dancer myself. And so, you know, what are the questions that those dancers are with rheumatoid arthritis are asking? They're asking things like, do Epsom salts baths really actually do any good? Do they help? Yes, they do. But you know, it's little things like that. What about aromatherapy? Does aromatherapy help with joint pain? What about mindfulness? Does mindfulness help with joint pain? What about changing your diet? I've heard if you move to a whole food plant-based diet, does it help? Well, of course, we all know it does. But you know, so those are the sorts of that's the kind of marketing intelligence that you'll actually get for free in Facebook groups. So for goodness sake, everybody, if you're stuck about what to talk about, and you know, if you're thinking, well, I want to do a series of Zooms to keep all my people together and keep my tribe together and motivated and interested in what I'm offering, then this is what you've got to do. You know, if you're stuck for topics, get into the groups, see what people are talking about, pick up the phone, speak to your clients and say, in the absence of clients, then simply go into the Facebook groups. I hope, is that helpful? Yes? Yes, no, yes, no? Yep, okay, good, good, excellent. Right, okay, so Mark, our lovely Mark says, one of the things I'm doing for clients at the moment, more and more, is short videos or voice therapy videos, and then posting them to my YouTube channel, unlisted or private. Great, and then they can view it or listen to it when they need to at a reduced rate. What a clever idea. Yes, because, so the way that works, everybody, again, you know, we, quite honestly, here's the blessing in all of this. If we had to say that there is a silver lining in this horrendous situation, the fact is that if we had lived at any other time in history so far, we would be devastated. But right now, we've got Facebook for market research and advertising, if you choose to go that way. We've got YouTube channels that we can set up for free. We've got Instagram that's free. We've got Instagram TV that's free. I don't propose that you put yourself everywhere on every channel unless you have a rationale for doing so. The thing about social media is that it can be very draining because it's very, very, very hard work. And so you've got to work out where your audience is. If your audience is not using Instagram, then don't post on Instagram. You don't need to. If your audience is able and willing and interested in using YouTube, then do post on YouTube. Okay, if you what Mark is saying is that you can actually put a video up on YouTube that's invisible to everybody else, but if you give your client the link, they will be able to go and view it privately whenever they want to. So it's a fabulous idea, Mark. I thank you for sharing it, because that's a really valuable idea, and I really do, you know, it's generous. It's very generous of you, Mark. Thank you so much. And this is what this group is all about. And I do know that, you know, we've got such sharing people, and you know, I'm just in awe of you all, actually. Susan says, I could do with help on how to make and receive payments online for such as Zoom workshops. Okay, the easy way to do that, it's manual, but you know, there are ways of, if you subscribe to Zoom webinars, you can actually set that up and make it paid. You can make the webinars paid webinars, but it's pricey to do that, to actually pay for Zoom. And then you've got your PayPal processing fees and whatnot, or Stripe fees, that sort of thing. So what I would do if I were you is I would set up a little thing on your website. It depends, maybe you're doing this through emails or through your website, but you can go to PayPal. If you use PayPal, you can get a little button, you can get the code. You go to a bit where it says create a button, and it will give you the code, the HTML code, a JavaScript code that creates a little button for you, and then you can copy and paste that and put it either into your email, if your email supports that, or you can put it on your website. Very straightforward and very easy to do, and so people can actually then click to pay up front. Or alternate, and then just to finish off that thought, and then what you would do is you would look at your PayPal and you say, okay, tick, 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 this person's paid, this person's paid, this person's paid, this person's paid. It's manual, it's a bit of a faff, but it's a good way of doing it, because, you know, if you're not dealing with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, it's doable. Another option is that I've just noticed on Facebook, you can set up a paid event, and you can then send those people to your Zoom your Zoom broadcast, or you can actually do it as a paid Facebook Live. So, you know, that's worth checking out as well. I personally prefer Zoom, because the thing about Zoom is that you can actually interact with people. It's a lot easier, and it's a bit more of a stable platform. So I would say that's, you know, that's the way I would do it at the moment. There are a couple of other platforms I'm evaluating just now, and I will, once I've worked out how stable they are and whether you can actually do paid seminars and broadcasts and so on, I'll let you know about that as well. Okay, so, right, okay. Mark says he uses PayPal for payments. Clients don't need to have a PayPal account. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, absolutely. No, your clients don't need a PayPal account. You can simply send them a PayPal invoice and they can pay it on their card. So it's very, very easy to use PayPal, easier than ever these days. Right, okay, Rita says, I'm into rebranding and writing my website. I'm offering online consultation for my batch flower remedies. Okay, great. So online is really good. That's absolutely superb. Glad to see that you're doing that, Rita. So you're doing rebranding. Rita, have you looked at my branding videos on the Complementary Medical Association YouTube channel? Because I've put a couple of branding, I put marketing and branding and positioning on videos up there. I'd love you to go through those, because there's some really, really good information in those that will really help focus you when you're doing your rebrand. Okay, so, and Roberta says, yes, PayPal has many ways to gather payments. Roberta is the expert at this, the ultimate expert, because this is what she does day in, day out, isn't it, Roberta? Okay, right, okay. Oh yeah, and Roberta very kindly says, try PayPal, Susan, as you can use your mobile phone, PC, and so on to issue invoices and whatnot, and clients find it very easy to pay. Right, okay. Right. Andrew said he did the Facebook group and then sent things to everybody on the page. That's a very, very good idea. That's an excellent idea. strongly suggest that you take a leaf out of Andrew's book to do that. You can message, I presume you messaged them, Andrew, is that right? Right, okay. Sandy says she does go to Facebook to do market research, but struggles to know which groups, as many can be full of conspiracy theorists too. Yeah, that's right, absolutely. But you know what? If you're picking your groups, for example, let's say it's a group, let's go back to the sort of thing I would look at personally, athletes dealing with rheumatoid arthritis. Well, you know what? It's just valuable information and people discussing how to get well with this condition. So you don't need to worry about conspiracy theories, because that's not the sort of discussion that's going on there. You know, you may get the odd political comment, but if the moderators of the groups are on the ball, you'll find they'll just shut that down right away. So generally speaking, if you're in a group that's on topic, great, it's useful to you. If it's a group that's not on topic, then just don't go there anymore. It's, you know, I'm not forcing you to stay there. Okay, right, okay. Yes, Andrew finds PayPal really easy for taking payments. Fabulous, great feedback. Thank you, Andrew. Debbie says, fabulous advice. Great, I'm glad it's useful. Excellent, thank you very much. I like to know that I'm delivering value. That's the most important thing. Okay, Andrew says, just have your Facebook group and then make a page, like a Facebook page. Right, okay, it's really good then, get on Google page. Oh, okay, so you're finding that you're actually really able to rank very high on Google. You're coming up #1 in Google. That's brilliant, well done. We're going to need to know a bit more about that, I think, Andrew, for another discussion, because you're obviously doing something very, very right there, so well done you. Bruna says, social media is also very fast. If you cannot keep up with queries or comments, it's easy to lose track or control. I need to timetable as much as possible. I have to do lists. Yes. Oh my goodness, absolutely. You know, this is actually why we brought Megan on board within the Complementary Medical Association, because she is a social media specialist. With the best will in the world, I was trying to keep up with all of our social media channels and so on. And we've got how many channels? We've probably got about 10 different channels. Now, I know I said you don't need to be everywhere, but just on Facebook, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. No, 6. We've got 6 just on Facebook. We've got YouTube, 2 on YouTube. We've got 1 on Instagram. So actually that's 9. So I wasn't far off, was I? One away. Have we got any other social channels? Roberta, have we got any other social channels, or is that it for the time being? I think that's it, isn't it?
I think that's it at the moment, yeah. We're going to have to look at LinkedIn, I think, and different things like that.
Oh, yeah, actually, you're right, yes. Thank you. Yes, you are right, Roberta. That, in fact, yeah, we are looking at LinkedIn. And actually, everybody, that's something that, thank you, Roberta. I can't claim to be a LinkedIn expert at all. We are just putting, I've had a LinkedIn account for absolutely ages. I get a heck of a lot of contacts from LinkedIn. You've got to be a little bit careful with LinkedIn contacts, because a lot of the times people wanting to make contact with you to try to lure you into their multi-level marketing thing, offering you a business opportunity, which quite honestly, please just keep your eyes on your business. Don't get shiny object syndrome. It's very easy, because there's some big promises in multi-level marketing and network marketing, and it's a really, really, really iffy business model. I personally don't like it one bit. And if you're into it and you're doing well, respect to you, but it's not my bag. And it does kind of, it can be a distraction. But if you can stay focused on LinkedIn, I've built a massive following on LinkedIn without even doing anything, without even trying. So we are going to start playing with LinkedIn. You can actually do things, and I'm talking to a lady at the moment about actually setting bots up on LinkedIn to send automatic messages to people, to reach out automatically to very tightly targeted people, as a way of growing the Complementary Medical Association course providers side of things. And it's very ethical. It's not done in an iffy way, but what it does is it simply automates the right kind of contact, and then we take it over and we are then in personal contact with the person. But what it does is it identifies the right people without us having to trawl through things. So it's an experiment for us at the moment, and I will report back to you, because anything that we find works, we will share with you. That's the important thing. I think it's very, very important that you know that, you know, we're not just keeping information, playing things close to our chests. We're very much about sharing with you, because it's in our interest for you to be successful, because the more successful practitioners out there, the more the world changes and the more complementary medicine there is out there. And so ultimately, the people who need it the most, the patients, the vulnerable people, are the ones who ultimately benefit. So, okay, right, let's have a wee look. Yes, so timetabling, as Bruna says, and analysing where you should be spending your time is very, very important. Don't get distracted from bright, shiny object syndrome. Right, okay, let's have a little look. Andrew made a very valuable point. He said he thinks that using a Facebook page is more cost effective than a website. Yes, it is, but don't forget that people are also doing Google searches and web searches. So it's useful to have a website because it does act as your shop window. So it's useful to have a presence, even if it's a small site. Now, Mark, who's in the group today, Mark puts websites up. So Mark, would you mind commenting on that and just saying a little bit about how useful you think websites are for practitioners?
Yep, sure. Websites, I always like to think websites are a bit like well, people use them for different things, but typically websites are can be used as a CV. They're a good reference point for people to go to find out maybe your credentials, a little bit about your business, the services you provide, etc. And of course, the important thing is nowadays you link all that into your social media, and it makes your site look active, and that is what helps to get the hits on Google. So if you start putting things, references into your website so Google can search for you, look for keywords, that's really what it's about. But I would highly recommend that you link the two together. That's the key thing. Link your YouTube website if you've got one, link your Facebook, link your LinkedIn, and they all work together now. And that's what I do basically for clients.
Right, okay. So if anybody, thank you. That's really, really helpful. So if anybody is curious about, or you don't know how to do that, Mark, is it okay for people to contact you? Great, okay. Would you be so kind as to put your details in the chat? So the best way for people to contact you if they would like to explore that as an opportunity. I think it's a very, very, very valuable thing for people to know about. Thank you for that. Right, okay. The other thing I would say also, everybody, is that with your own website, you've got more control. Whereas when you're on Facebook, if, let's say, some troll decides that they don't like you, and we've got some comments about this in Janie Goddard masterclasses, where one of our group members was targeted by a particular troll who randomly targets complementary medical practitioners. And this lady is a homeopath, and this troll said, "Oh, you're a quack, homeopathy is quackery." And obviously I was able to sort of reassure her, because I get like really horrific trolling, but if you put yourself out there, that's what's going to happen. And you just have to put your big girl knickers or your big boy pants on and just accept it. Send them some love, because these are people, let's face it, if somebody was happy in themselves, happy people lift other people up. Damaged people pull other people down. It's as simple as that. So we have to, we're big boys and girls. We know that what we have to do is to send them some love, because that's what they're severely lacking in their lives. So the point with a website is that you're in control of it. Whereas on your Facebook page, if some troll decides to give you bad feedback or write horrible things, if it's a comment, you can delete it. But if it's a review, Facebook won't delete it. Even if it's really, really unfair and really obvious trolling, Facebook will just leave it there. There's nothing you can do. So you know, with your website, you can actually, you're more in control. You can put your testimonials there. It's really important to be able to use testimonials, because there's nothing as good as social proof that shows people how good you are and what you can do to help people. So that's another thing you should be using your website for, social proof. Okay, let's just crack through, because we're nearly at the end of the broadcast. So I just want to make sure I've answered all the questions and addressed all the issues. Okay. Bruna says she agrees with Andrew. She finds it easier to use Facebook than a website. Also, find blogging easier than a website, especially as I'm not a lover of technical stuff. Fair enough. Jacqueline says, I've been using Zoom for training and my meditation classes have now gone online. I send out an invoice, they pay online how they wish. All works well. Fabulous. That's great. Absolutely excellent. Rita, you're very welcome. Thank you very much. Okay. Andrew says, finds online payment very easy. Just make your own group if it's a problem. Sandy says, oh, okay, that's fine. That's just a blip on her feed. That's okay. Right. LinkedIn, so Tracy, thank you, Tracy. LinkedIn is very, very good for article promotions. Yes, it is. It's a great way of getting visibility. We need to make more use of it. You know, as I say, that it's in the pipeline. And when Megan has a spare nanosecond, well, I'm going to have a word with her. She's going to shoot me, but I need to have a word with her and say, can we get cracking on LinkedIn at some point in the not too distant future? We do need to do it. Yes, okay, let's have a look. Carol says, I've been on LinkedIn for years as a professional networking platform. It is pretty good. Yes, it is. Jacqueline says, which website builder is best, as I want to update mine, but find 1, 2, 3 expensive? I think that's really a question, Jacqueline, if you'd like to perhaps liaise with Mark, if that's okay. Mark, is that okay if I send Jacqueline your way? Great, thank you. Let's have a little look. Okay. Right, some more info, people saying about which website platforms they're using. That's fine. Okay. Mark says best to contact Mark. Okay, Mark at indigoinsight.me or .me for anything about websites. Okay, free consultation in English, no techie speak. Brilliant, Mark. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Right, let's have a little look. Okay, right. Oh, Bruna says, my LinkedIn photo is me holding her CMA certificate. You lovely lady. Thank you. We love that. Oh, by the way, CMA members, have you all had your goodie boxes, your gift boxes from us? Yay. They're rather lovely, aren't they? And actually, yes, they're fantastic. We sent these beautiful boxes out with all loads of lovely, lovely bits and pieces. A gorgeous CMA pen, the CMA new brochure, because we wanted to show we're actually completely rebranding the CMA. We're building a new CMA website at the moment. It's a massive website, 7,500 pages of website. It's a biggie. And so as you can imagine, it's taking our web guys quite some time to do. And it's all the back-end integration, all of our membership stuff and so on. But we sent people these lovely key rings, a gorgeous lapel badge, which is magnetic so it doesn't ruin your clothes. We sent a lovely writing pad, and we sent, as I said, oh yes, welcome letter and various other bits and pieces. And everybody absolutely loves it. It was a nice surprise, because we were so grateful to you all for being so supportive throughout lockdown, and really, you know, just staying active and holding the faith and being good practitioners. So that's why we wanted to get it out to you and also show off our new branding. So let's just see, let me see. Okay. Yes, Sandy, we can have a private chat, that's fine. Jenny, didn't receive her goodie box. Okay, well, that's something perhaps to liaise with Roberta about. When did you join us, Jenny? Just drop a little note, because if it was more recently, I don't know, because I haven't looked at because Roberta is the goddess of everything membership. Roberta, as you know, is the vice president of the Complementary Medical Association, and she looks after everything to do with membership. I'm just the oily rag, okay? Roberta is, you know, the engineer. And so I just do things like, you know, Zooms and liaise with the government. That's what I do for my sins. I have to talk to the government and things like that. But seriously though, if you've got a question about anything to do with membership, Roberta's your lady. If you've got anything to do, questions regarding practice building, practice development, moving forward, setting up courses, anything from the business side of things. You know, I set up the CMA 27 years ago, so I have seen literally every permutation of practice there is. So I can tell you from soup to nuts what works and more importantly, what doesn't work. So, okay, my loves, right, also you joined a year ago. Okay, Jenny, talk to Roberta. I'm sure you're dialoguing in the background there, so that'll be sorted out. So don't you worry, because you know we're super on the ball. Roberta says she's going to look into it for you. That's fine. Okay, my darlings. Any further questions? Because it's 2 minutes past 4. I don't want to keep you overly long. I just want to say thank you so much. Please keep the faith. Remember that we are not the victims, we are the victors. We are the cavalry that is so needed right now out there to make sure that people are being looked after, not just to protect them from COVID and just their general well-being, but also, you know, when you're thinking about dealing with people with post-viral syndrome, which is now what we're seeing post-viral syndrome, we're also seeing post-viral autoimmunity. I was reading a research paper on that just this morning. So there's an awful lot of mopping up that we are gonna have to do. So your work is going to be well and truly cut out for you, so I wanna make sure you're ready for it. So make sure you've got your ducks in a row practice-wise. I will keep you posted about the training course. It's literally a blueprint about what you've got to do A to Z to make sure your practice is completely and utterly on point. So I'll keep you posted about that. And there we go. I want to say have a great weekend. Love you loads. You are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Bye.